the angle Eratosthenes is measuring. So, Steve, was he wrong when he started measuring this angle because the ground isn't flat? So we can put a big fat cross through Eratosthenes, right? Or he was measuring the ground. Which is it? Kick this shitty globe proof to the side because of how wrong it is, or concede the flat earth it's measuring, Steve. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. Which one you going to pick?
That's exactly what I said. Yeah, in your world.
So Steve, he was getting an angle off a flat earth then, for his angle to be an angle. So it is a flat earth he's measuring then. Is it a big fat red cross through it because it's not an angle, couldn't be earth not flat? Or is he getting this angle in the rhetoric from a flat earth, Steve? Sorry, what was that? Not between a rock and a hard place?
We didn't measure a flat earth.
So we're going to put a giant cross through Eratosthenes' garbage globe proof because his method's flawed. Not an angle that he's getting on the ground from that shadow because Earth's not flat. So it's failed method, isn't it, Steve? It failed. Would that be a stony silence, Steve? Oh, my bad. It's you never getting a chance to speak. It's obviously my confusion in that long, protracted, stony silence while you figure out where to go when you're caught between a rock and a hard place. Because you can either say that Eratosthenes' claim to be angle measurement isn't an angle, because it's not a flat earth. How could it be an angle? Or you can concede that he must measure Earth flat for it. Which is it going to be, Steve? Which is it going to be?
Well, that's where you're wrong.
Wow, that's where I'm wrong. I don't know if Nathan put those up on screen.
I have.
The jury's going to convict you.
What he put up on screen, a diagram of a triangle. That doesn't prove that what you're measuring on Earth is a triangle. Okay?
No. What they are is they've been posted in Discord to you too. They're diagrams of elevation angles, and they are triangles. You say no, because the baseline can't be Earth, because my Earth's curving. No, it is the ground. It's got 90 degree to the ground position of the star you're measuring. Ground position. You say no, there's two lines. Why? Because it's not the curved line that you need it to be. Or you can chant through the conclusion all you like, but it's just a flat Earth measurement, whether you like it or not.
No, it's not. The 90 degree at the GP and the 28 degree that I measured at my location are not on a flat line, the same flat line.
Like in this diagram. Hold on. Not on the... Stop.
There you go.
Stop. Let me just confirm. So what he has just said is the angle measurement and the 90 are not the same line, as is the case in this diagram depicting angle of elevation formula. They are also, excuse me, the line labelled adjacent in this diagram of angle of elevation is not the line along the ground, according to you, as per this diagram showing it as a line along the ground called adjacent. And as per this diagram, this straight, flat line meeting the GP at 90 of a 45 degree angle, 60 degree angle, this is not the line either. This isn't the line of the ground either. And this diagram, there's about 20 of these that all contradict you, zealot numpty. All of them contradict you. They've all got one line along the ground. All of them. The list goes on and on, and you're just wrong.
Right. And you agreed to it with the Eratosthenes that you're forming a triangle to get the elevation angle. Why are you denying it now? You're like in two different places where you want to tell them they're wrong and agree with me. You can't do that.
I never said, when did I say you're forming a triangle when you take an elevation angle?
That's what it is. It's on every single one of these diagrams that you've had posted to you in Discord. That's what it is. You seem to think we concern ourselves with what you say when you don't cite a damn thing. Meanwhile, we have endless citations that contradict your garbage that you spew. Because that's all you can do, spew garbage about triangles not being triangles, about the baselines not being the baseline, about the plane of reference not being referenceable, being imaginary, and then tell me I don't understand your position after you make it clear that the ground we're navigating is just an imaginary plane. Why? Because it can't be the line along the baseline. Because it's not curving. No, it is. It's the flat Earth we're measuring. You just can't cope with it.
Yeah, with the stick and shadow, you admitted that was a triangle and it was an elevation angle.
I don't think I admitted that was a triangle. I did?
Oh, God.
I think I said
God. I can't help you.
What? When did I say it was a triangle?
So Eratosthenes isn't a triangle. Let's just get this on record.
That's my whole point here. I've been saying that when you measure an elevation angle, you're not creating a triangle.
Well, that's your death. It's over. You just cut your own head off.
Okay. Well, if that's what you think, if you think a right angle triangle exists where you know all three sides,
while you're saying it, Dumbo, it's on screen.
Not what I say. I've demonstrated it. It's in Discord, and I gave all the references to Nathan to show on the stream. It's not what I said. It's what I demonstrated.
But keep denying it while you say, oh, well, because I say it's not a triangle, the endless citations on screen while you're saying it aren't true. That's what your position is currently. It's pathetic.
Yeah, well, what you're showing on screen is obviously not the Earth with elevation angles taken from it. It's pictures of it taken on a flat baseline.
It is. What are you talking about? Look, I told you. You get the stick, you put it in the ground 90, you measure the shadow, you get the line from the end of the shadow to the top of the stick. That is a triangle. That is an elevation angle. You agreed to that. Why are you changing your mind?
Called cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, Steve, this is the point where you say, okay, but why would they?
No, I agreed that it's an elevation angle. I did not agree that it's a triangle. Why do you keep saying that?
Because it's on screen.
I know how you get.
You asked a question.
Elevation
Why
angle.
do we keep saying it's a triangle? The triangles that it is. Okay, maybe keep muting me while I point out why, in answer to your question, we keep saying it's a triangle. No, we've got dozens of cited sources showing it, you stupid clown. It's not what we say. You just had this 30 seconds ago from QE. You stupid muppet.
Are you going to keep calling me names?
Yeah, because you're an idiot. Why would you keep saying I think it's a triangle? No, it is a triangle. It's labelled angle of elevation formula with a picture of a bleeding triangle. But you think it's debatable because you're an idiot. Yes, I am going to call you being an idiot for what it is. Idiocy. Yeah, your denial of the triangle that is an elevation angle is idiotic. Steve. That's right, Steve. I'm calling you, with total justification, an idiot. Now, to anybody watching this, looking at the triangle that you question, they're going to realise how justified I am in calling you an idiot. As you go, are you going to keep calling me names? As I deny the triangle on screen labelled angle of elevation formula as being a triangle, why would that make me an idiot? It makes you an idiot, Steve, because you are an idiot. Hope that's clear.
I was an idiot as soon as he came off mute.
Yeah, and like you got with just a stick and a shadow, you have the height of all three sides, you have the angle of all three sides, you have the 90, you have an elevation angle to the sun. Are you really denying that?
What length do you have? In your example, John, what length do you have there?
That's what she said.
The shadow. Oh, hold on. You have the shadow, you have the stick, and then you have from the tip of the stick down to the end of the shadow. Do you not?
So you have an angle between the stick and the shadow. What length do you have?
I just told you. you have the length of the stick, the length of the shadow, and the length from the tip of the shadow to the top of the stick.
So all you got is an angle. You don't have a triangle.
Yeah, that's all Eratosthenes used. That's right. That's right. That's all he
Fucking
used.
hell.
That's Eratosthenes just used an angle off a flat Earth. That's right. Did you want to now decry Eratosthenes as a really shitty proof? Because it's obviously measuring a flat Earth for the angle, like this triangle on screen. Just imagine this line for the audience, labelled Y, is the stick. Now imagine the line labelled X is the flat Earth, the one labelled horizontal line, and then the Z is the opposite of the triangle in this very obvious triangle in this diagram labelled angle of elevation formula with a triangle in it. So it's the flat ground, Steve, in that Eratosthenes example. Did you want to kick it to the curb now? Like run it over with a big fat bus because it's proving a flat Earth? Feel free. Tell us how crappy, Eratosthenes is. Go ahead.
All right, I've had enough. Thanks. I'll talk to you later.
Wounded. Bye-bye, little globe-believing zealot. It was fun proving a flat Earth with your examples. Run away, little globe believer. Run away. Couldn't cope.
Oh, he'll be active in the chat. Believe me. Deal with him every time you re-up one of your shows. He's in there spewing the same nonsense.
You got me banned. You have me banned off the channel. How can I do that?
Sorry, Steve. The angle for Eratosthenes is off a flat Earth. For the angle to be flat, to be an angle, to be a triangle. It's flat Earth.
He was pretty sure the Earth was a globe.
Did you want to chant through me? Did you want to chant through me? Maybe this is your time to talk about being banned. So it's a flat Earth in Eratosthenes' angle measurement, isn't it, Steve?
No.
So it's not an angle. So you want to kick Eratosthenes' triangle to the curb, right? It's crap. Not proving.
Did Eratosthenes say the Earth was flat? I don't remember him saying
the angle in his triangle, Steve.
Did he say the Earth was flat?
Try and keep up, Steve. Try and keep up.
Or did he try to figure out how big the sphere was?
Maybe if you just chant incessantly through the bit that's the angle that he's measuring with a stick and a shadow. Try and keep up. I know it's hard. You're an idiot. So the ground you conceded to earlier, the shadow, Steve, it's on the ground, Steve, for the angle Eratosthenes is measuring. So, Steve, was he wrong when he started measuring this angle because the ground isn't flat? So we can put a big fat cross through Eratosthenes, right? Or he was measuring the ground. Which is it? Kick this shitty globe proof to the side because of how wrong it is, or concede the flat Earth it's measuring, Steve. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. Which one you going to pick?
He wasn't measuring a flat Earth. There's no rock and hard place in there. There's just malformed arguments on your part.
So the shadow was curved. Wasn't so he was flawed. He wasn't getting an angle with the shadow then. So it's flawed. So we're kicking out this crappy globe proof. It was flawed. He wasn't getting an angle. How could he? Even suggest he's measuring an angle, right? It's crap. We put a big fat cross through Eratosthenes then, right? Big fat red cross. Garbage. Not an angle. Because Earth's not flat to get the angle, right, Steve? So next time a globe believer tells us about Eratosthenes, Steve told us, big red cross. Couldn't be getting an angle because Earth isn't flat. Right, Steve?
That's exactly what I said. Yeah, in your world.
So Steve, he was getting an angle off a flat Earth then, for his angle to be an angle. So it is a flat Earth he's measuring then. Is it a big fat red cross through it because it's not an angle, couldn't be Earth not flat? Or is he getting this angle in the rhetoric from a flat Earth, Steve? Sorry, what was that? Not between a rock and a hard place?
I'm not going to argue with you about a little spot on the Earth, whether it's level or flat, whether it's it's just silly.
Why is he still speaking?
You're being silly.
Why are you still speaking? You denied that an elevation angle was a right angle triangle. You would fail third grade geometry. Why are we still speaking to him?
He ducked out, but then he feigned ducking out. so he could change the subject to his being banned or something. And then I immediately brought it back onto the subject of Eratosthenes having to measure a flat area. Now he's into the justifying how flat an area it's got to be, aren't you, Steve? You carry on, son. Was that a long, protracted, stony silence, Steve? Maybe you're not getting your chance to talk, Steve. Maybe that wasn't the long, protracted silence I thought it was, and that was you justifying how flat Eratosthenes needs that little area to be, right? Just needs a little bit of flat Earth, doesn't he, Steve? Just tell us. He just needs a little bit of flat Earth, a little flat area, right, Steve? Because it's so big, it doesn't matter when he measures it flat, right, Steve? Or do we put a big fat cross through it? Because he couldn't be getting an angle and that. Not between a rock and a hard place, are you, Steve? Not at all. Which one is it?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'm in a great place.
So which one is it? Is he measuring it just a little bit of flat Earth needed for his angle? Or is it flawed because he couldn't be getting an angle? Earth's not flat. Right, Steve? Which is it?
He didn't measure a flat Earth.
So we're going to put a giant cross through Eratosthenes' garbage globe proof. Couldn't be getting an angle because Earth isn't flat. So his method is flawed. He didn't get an angle. Oh, right. Well, we know Eratosthenes is garbage. Steve definitely isn't going to be using Eratosthenes to prove a globe. Now, are you, Steve? Big, fat, red cross through that garbage. How could he be getting an angle? What with Earth not being flat for the angle?
Use him to prove a
Maybe
globe?
if you chant through me, Steve, it'll make it less painful that you're putting a big fat cross through your claim to be globe-proof. Because his method's flawed. Not an angle that he's getting on the ground from that shadow, because Earth's not flat. So it's failed method, isn't it, Steve? It failed. Would that be a stony silence, Steve? Oh, my bad. It's you never getting a chance to speak. It's obviously my confusion in that long, protracted, stony silence while you figure out where to go when you're caught between a rock and a hard place. Because you can either say that Eratosthenes' claim to be angle measurement isn't an angle. Because it's not a flat Earth, how could it be an angle? Or you can concede that he must measure Earth flat for it. Which is it going to be, Steve? Which is it going to be?
What? He didn't prove the Earth was flat. If he's trying to say that he proved the Earth was flat, then he was wrong.
No, measured Earth flat. No, measured it flat for the angle. So you're saying he didn't get the angle?
I'm saying he didn't measure it flat.
So he didn't get the angle. So flawed method, definitely not proving a globe. Sticks and shadows, not an angle, not a flat Earth, right, Steve? Totally flawed. Why would he even assert that he's... Maybe if you chant through me, maybe if you chant through me, the pain will go away. No, Steve. If he's not getting an angle because Earth isn't flat, then it's not an angle anymore, son, and it's definitely not a valid method. It's an angle measurement, Steve, so we can chuck that crappy globe proof directly in the bin. Big fat red cross through it, right, Steve? Because it's not really an angle. How could it be? Earth's not flat, right, Steve? So that's a flawed method he's using. Maybe you'd like to try the hard place of, yeah, he is getting an angle just off a flat Earth, right, Steve? Maybe try and justify how flat it is for that little area like you did twice before.
Getting an angle off using the ground is not the same as getting an angle off of using a plane of reference.
So off the ground, Steve, this is not the ground according to you, mate. Imaginary, mate. It's an imaginary plane. Why would you say it's the ground? It's imaginary, right?
That's how you take an elevation angle.
From an imaginary plane that he's using on the ground, Eratosthenes. No, I'm pretty sure he's using the ground there, Steve. It's flat, right, for the angle.
Why do we have to talk about Eratosthenes? We were talking about elevation angles, weren't we?
Yeah, sticks and shadows.
How you measure an elevation angle?
Yeah, elevation angle with a stick and shadow. Go ahead, John.
I'm sorry. We were talking about elevation angles, the one you got wrong before?
Do you mean the ones that don't form triangles?
Yeah, the right angle triangles, they're elevation angles. The one that we exposed you before, you would fail third grade geometry. We back to that again?
I don't think you exposed yourself for thinking that there's a right angle triangle involved when you create Yeah, there's no triangle. Those angles from the GP and the angle from the observer are two different baselines. They don't use the same baseline.
On screen for my audience right now, these triangles show a single adjacent for this triangle. Observer position is A, 90-degree position in the triangle is C, single baseline, not two. This man is a lying scumbag, globe-believing zealot who will lie to you about what triangles are when you form elevation angles with respect to the surface of Earth. There aren't two lines.
You do it on a flat Earth.
And not if we're on a flat Earth. The adjacent is flat in all of these examples. You need to turn it into an if statement. It's not an if. That's how it's done. You did it to extrapolate out nautical mile distance. Flat.
And now you're throwing away Eratosthenes when you say it's not a triangle.
I never brought him up.
Yeah, we did.
Why are you telling me I'm throwing things away that I don't bring up? I mean,
because you say it's not really an angle measurement because Earth's not flat. That would be you throwing away Eratosthenes. Unless you want to concede that he does measure it flat.
I didn't bring him up.
I did. I pointed out that it puts you in a rock and hard place situation where either you decry that it's an angle measurement he's acquiring, in which case it's not an angle, it's not a valid proof for a globe, or you concede it is an angle, in which case he's measuring Earth flat. You can either do one or the other.
All I did was try to...
All you did was whatever you want to rumpus me with. All I did was prove that you've got a flat Earth measurement in your Eratosthenes angle. I didn't. It was John.
All right. That's enough.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You're done.
So can you tell us one more time for the record, even though we got it taped, can you tell us that elevation angles are not right angle triangles last night?
An elevation angle is just an angle. And the points between the observer, the celestial body, and the GP do not form a triangle, right angle or otherwise. There it is on tape. Play it all you want.
Last one, please. Is an elevation angle a right angle triangle? Yes or no?
No, it's an elevation angle.
Thank you.
An angle has two lines. A triangle has three.
You would fail third grade intro to geometry. Again,
well, good.
This
it's
is
a
like
good thing I'm not going back to third grade geometry because, okay.
Yeah, your parents must have bribed the teachers or something because you don't know what an elevation angle is.
Have. Yeah, they got me through life by bribing.
We already demonstrated it. You're finished. Thank you.
Okay. If you say so, you go ahead.
Yeah,
play that for the world. Yeah, play that for the world. I hope you make a soundbite.
Just answer me this, Steve. What is it with this denial? If you say so, is that enough to relieve your pain?
What are you talking about?
Nathan, this is a build-up. This is a build-up for about a year of him in chat.
Right. If it's just what we say, then he can deny it. It's what it's coming down to. He thinks that it's just what we say, not what we've been demonstrating, or not what we've got him to admit to.
No, I like the comparison because it throws out everything, the sextant and everything. You brought him back to the sticks and shadows, and it's the ground. And he's still denying it.
Right. You get the elevation angle of the stick with comparison to the sun. So you have the elevation angle of the sun now. But that's not an elevation angle because it's got a triangle in it. So Eratosthenes is garbage. Throw that out the window. What? Why do that?
If you want to boil down my claim is simply this. When I take an elevation angle from where I am and I get 28, and there's an elevation angle from the GP of Polaris that's 90, those two angles are not using the same baseline. There's another soundbite for you. Because we live on a sphere.
How do you get an elevation angle off a curved surface? You're supposed to be using your globe.
You don't.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
You get an elevation angle off of a plane of reference, perpendicular to plumb.
Just comment on that guy.
The ground.
I'm not sure what he's doing then, but what he's just admitted is that when he does this, he is not following the methodology of celestial navigation. Whatever he's doing to come to the same conclusion and re-describing, he is no longer doing celestial navigation.